Hello everyone, and I'm going to introduce the first program I wrote by myself in Python. So I'm a high school student, and now our class decided to change our seat once a week. So the day when we decide to change our seats, all of my classmates they become crazy and they want to sit beside their friends in order to talk to each other during the class, and they also want to sit in the back of the classroom, and that makes our teacher crazy too. So I want to solve this problem. So I write a program in order to get a fair way to change our seats, and the most importantly to make them all satisfied with their seats. So let's first see the idea of my program. So this is the overview of my program, and first let's see the structure chart. The structure chart, we can input the size of the classroom. It contains numbers of rows and numbers of columns. Then the input names of the study situations. This I will talk the study situations later. Now it includes names and study situations. Then the program will calculate the arrange seats and arrange seats by those identifiers, and at last it will form a seats and output. Maybe it will output in Excel. Second is the flowchart. As you can see, after we start the program, the input shows that please input number of rows and please input the number of columns. Actually, these two steps I wrote it in the same message box. That is really convenient for people to use. And the third one I wrote it in another box. Please input the names of students. And this is the identifier need study. I will talk about it later. Then we can input the study situations of students, and the program will create a form by itself. Then output the form. At last, the program is finished. So let's talk about the identifier tables. The first identifier is rows. That is easy, and as well as columns. As for the spare seat, I consider that in my classroom there are some spare seats that nobody sits there. So the total seats will be the number of rows times the number of columns minus the spare seats. Name is the name of students. That's easy. As for the need study, that is a judgment for whether user need to input study. And what is study? This study is the situation of students studying. It includes top, middle, and weak. And the program will consider that the weak students will need help, so they can be arranged near the top students in order to improve their study. The last is the form. And now let's see the pseudocode. After inputs all the identifiers, then we can choose if we need to input the study situations. I wrote the procedure arrangement. That is a really difficult part in this program, and that contains all the calculations that I decided to to run. So after I call the arrangement, the program will output a form in Excel. Total equals rows times columns minus spreadsheet. So now let's see the specification of the program. First, as you can see, the program is used to arrange sheets, and the use cases is we can start the program and input the rows and columns, then input the name, and we can use the list to input the names. At last, we can click Start to produce a form of sheets. The user interface is really simple because the GUI I use is very easy. As you can see, it's almost like this, but it have a slightly change after I decide to write it in Python. As for the functionality and limitations, this program can solve the problem only for changing sheet. I think this problem is going to happen only in schools, and the program is the program can arrange sheets according to the learning states of students. That is a really fantastic function, I think. But it can only solve the problem that's the sheet problem. So after the user input a large number of rows or columns, it will show invalid number. At last is testing strategy. I will ask my classmates to use the black box testing to see whether the program can produce the form correctly, and I will use white box testing by myself because I know everything that I wrote in the code. So as for the code, in the past I usually wrote some simple code in CMD or Python that can only run in command line or Python shell. Those code doesn't have a user interface, and now I need to add some user interface into my program, and that is really a challenge for me. I never see the user interface. I never did it before, so I decided to buy a book to help me. And after I studied the book, and I found that there are many GUIs, so which to choose. So choose which to use is also a hard decide for me because I never used it before. So I saw some people recommend the TK GUI for Python, so I chose the TK. Actually, the book helped me a lot, and I can learn Python by myself now. So at last, let's see my code. As you can see, the program is read by Python, and first I import the TK GUI, and there are many new commands for me because of GUI, such as root equals tk.tk and root.title. This is the title of my message box. Also, the tk.label introduces the label inside the box, rows and columns. The grid can show the location of the text in the box, and I use the entry function to enter the numbers of rows and columns. Then I use the help function in order to let people know how to use the program. At last, I create a menu bar on the top of the box, and it includes help and quit. Let's run the program to see. Here is my program. That is really easy. As you can see, there is a menu bar on the top of the program. Here is help and quit. And after you click the help, it will show how to use. As for this straight line, it is a separator, one line. I think this line can help us to make clear that this is another menu that we clicked. And after we click how to use, it will show the small text box, and it said the title is how to use, and the text is input the number of rows and columns and then click calculate. And after we click quit this program, the program will quit itself. You can see here command equals root.destroy. Let's try this. You can see the program is quit by itself. And let's run it again. You can input the number of rows. In our class we have 6 rows and 6 columns. So there should be a button of calculation, but I don't have time to add it. So this is just the very beginning of the program, and it needs many improvements. So thank you for watching this video. Goodbye.